welcome to Thoughts from the Green Room with your host, Jeff Mays. This week's topic, vacation. Why is vacation a topic for this week? Well, that's simple. I'm about to head off on vacation. I am going to go and do one of my favorite things for the next 12 days or so. I'm headed down to Kentucky to do rock climbing. Rock climbing? Yeah, that's my second passion. Many people have asked me about rock climbing and acting, and I've said to them, it's rather simple, or maybe not that simple, depending on how you look at it. If I was handed a contract for acting, that would set me up for the rest of my life, and then immediately handed a contract for rock climbing, that would set me up for the rest of my life, I'd be hard-pressed to make a choice as to which one I would take. Either way, since acting is the chosen profession, the thing that I pursue the most, when I go on vacation, I typically go rock climbing. Sometimes I go traveling to visit friends and family, but first and foremost, I'm thinking about rock climbing. Now, why is vacation a topic on the Green Room? I typically talk about acting and its influences, or I have guests in studio and I speak about acting and the arts in general. So how does vacation fit into this? And I want to start it off, I guess, by asking a question. Are you someone who takes vacation? A follow-up question. Are you someone who looks for or actively seeks out time to relax? Now, I've asked myself those questions over the years, and the reality is it's only relatively recently in life that I can answer that I do take vacation and I do seek out opportunities to relax. And this comes back into the topic itself. Let me use me as the example. I started working at a very young age. I wanted to pay for certain things for myself and have a certain level of independence, so I was delivering flyers and papers, eventually got a part-time job while I was in high school, and my spare time went into working. I don't begrudge this. I think it's a good thing for a young person, a youth, to have a job and start to learn the value of money. There are many benefits to it, but it can also be something that is negative when it becomes too much or too dominant in their life. For myself, as things progressed and I started to realize I wanted to become an actor, I pushed harder and harder for work. And this was not only in my part-time job so I could afford the time off whenever I got an acting gig, which initially, let's face it, in the arts world, you start off by doing a lot of volunteer and a lot of free things to build a resume. So you need to take any shift you can get in order to finance a time that you say, hey, I can't work this weekend, I'm shooting a film. But as things progressed, and I didn't need the jobs as much because the acting was paying a little bit, got into the threat and the fear that I wouldn't be able to take vacation because if I took time off, I might miss a great opportunity. The opportunity that could launch me into superstardom and make me the next megastar. This is a fear that I think many artists have, and I feel right now it's even more prevalent with the changing style of economy and the changing style of workforce out there. I was speaking today with one of my colleagues at work about the idea of the boomers versus the Generation Z, Generation Y, and Generation X. The boomers came into a work field and the mentality that they would graduate or from school or get an apprenticeship, a trades job, and then have the next 25 years in a given profession, retire with a nice pension, live happily ever after. Generation X came in, which is my generation, and we started off where some of us were able to find that stability in the chosen profession, but many of us started to get into that contract bit. I've got some friends out there who are graphic designers as one, architects as the other, and they were the first people that I saw doing the contract thing. The job would last for as long as it took to get the building up or to get the new logos out, and then they were looking for work for the next project. Other friends found a little bit more stable professions, and 25 years later, they're thinking about retirement. They've got nice pensions and so forth. The traditional generation, boomer generation model. When we think about the Generation Y, the Generation Z, we think about people who are naturally moving into a less stable workforce, one that is built around the whole principle of contract work, job to job to job. Contracts may, if they're lucky, be with one firm for a long period of time, but mostly I'm hearing in feedback and discussion that No. The jobs are literally, here's your 5 weeks, and sayonara, good luck to you in your next search for a new contract. This mentality of contract to contract to contract is something I believe artists have always lived with. We go back to the times when actors were troubadours, would travel from city to city. They would basically knock on the door and hopefully be welcomed in. Many times they were, but many times they had to bypass a town or a city because there wasn't the opportunity there. They weren't welcome. A previous company had maybe done something that the troubadour companies weren't welcome, whatever have you. They were working contract to contract and living hand to mouth. And artists today still feel that. A traditional theater artist, unless you're exceptionally successful, you go for 3 weeks rehearsal, you get 3 or 4 weeks run, and then you're auditioning again and hoping you can land something before the money runs out. Film, television, you might get a couple days on set as a day player, or maybe you'll get a couple weeks on a set for something that's got a minor recurrence to it, and then you're off to the audition circuit again, hoping you can land something soon before the money runs out. This is the artist's mentality. You launched off a great song and maybe you got out an album. Well, hopefully you can get something out again before the money runs out and get yourself the next paycheck that's going to cover you for a couple months while you work on the craft. So this mentality from the artist perspective was one that naturally led me and many of my friends who have followed the arts into this idea that I don't have time or means to take a vacation. And if I have the means to take a vacation, then by taking a vacation, I might miss the opportunity that will allow me to live after the vacation. As a result, many artists live a life without vacation, paycheck to paycheck, hand to mouth, trying to survive. I've been fortunate, and my day jobs are flexible and they allow me the means to pursue the craft as well as provide me with income. And in the last 5 years, I guess, with this kind of flexibility, with this kind of stability for myself, I've really started to buy into this idea that I need some time off. I'm going to go and have a little bit of a rock climbing vacation. I'm going to go and travel and visit some family or friends. What have I learned from this? I've learned that by taking time away, I enrich myself, and that makes me a better artist. It also makes me a better performer in the workplace because I'm rejuvenated when I come back. I have the ability to put fresh eyes on a topic and move projects along quicker, easier. I used the word already, I'm going to say it again. It rejuvenates me and sets me up for the next course of work. What I'm getting at is that vacation and time away is valuable to everybody on the basis of rejuvenation. For artists, I feel it is absolutely vital because it gives us different perspectives on life, on the craft, on the world, on other people, on other cultures, depending on where you're taking your vacations and what you're doing. And as an artist, like anyone else, we can become quite entrenched. We get up in the morning, we live on our computers, we look for work, we live in the same city, we go to the same places to look for work, same casting houses. It's a bit of a run, a bit of a rut, a bit of a treadmill, if you will. And breaking that treadmill, that rut by, in this case for me, going on vacation for rock climbing, is going to expose me to different things, to give me different opportunities, to help me inform characters later down the line, to help me inform my thoughts on story. I'm giving you a lot of examples to say one thing, that vacation is the opportunity to break the rut, to rejuvenate, get fresh eyes on things. And most importantly, it gives time for self-reflection because you're getting away from all the mundane. Now, this is coming from direct experience. I shared earlier that I was a person who never took vacation. I was the person who worked on his birthday. And the first level of seeking vacation for me was recognizing simple having a day off. I started taking my birthday off, and then that led to needing at least one day in the week off, because part-time work for an artist is often 7 days a week. Because you're doing more than one job. It's not just one job, you're doing multiple jobs. So on your days off, you're working the other job. And you get burnt out. And if you're burnt out, you can't effectively do your craft. So the next question for you, my viewer, is, are you an artist or other who is working multiple jobs just to pay for the bills and live in the city and survive? With the multiple jobs, do you actually get time off to rest and relax? Many of you will say, yeah, I get a good day off a week, but do you use the day to rest and relax? Or are you running around playing catch up, doing your laundry, your groceries, and all of those mundane but necessary things to live life? You've got to cook sometimes. You can't always afford to eat out, so do you spend your day off cooking? What is it that you do with your downtime is the question. And with this kind of thought process in mind, I encourage you to start looking for opportunity to take time off, whether it be a day in the week that you just sit back and do nothing, or whether it be a vacation specific where you designate a specific time every year to go away and do something different, or maybe just a staycation, who cares? Some time away from work. What is the value in it? Well, I've already talked about that. The rejuvenation and all of the rejuvenation, the breaking the rut, the chance to see things from a different perspective. But most importantly, in my opinion, it's the chance to be away from everything you know typically so you can reflect. Reflection is one of the keys to growth. And growth, regardless of whether you're an artist or whether you're in a regular workforce style job, whatever it is, growth allows you to put back into that thing you're doing. And hopefully it's something that you love. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, ask yourself, are you a person who seeks out vacation, time off? Are you a person, when you get the time off, are you someone who uses it to relax? Or are you filling it with other things? And finally, what is the value for you in seeing the world from a different perspective, where time off and vacation are equal priorities to work and income? Because I believe these things need to be balanced in order for us to perform in whatever field we are in effectively. Those are your thoughts from the green room. I am your host, Jeff Mays, and I will see you in probably about 2 weeks when I'm back from my vacation.